Hello my friends, it is August the 21st of 2024. This video is about the band Stained. I'm going to rank their albums. I've been a huge fan of Stained since I was about 14 years old. I started listening to their music around the time that they released the album Break the Cycle, and I've been enjoying their music ever since. Okay, so I'm going to rank these albums from my least favorite to my most favorite, and this list is entirely subjective. This is how I feel, okay? Alright, so let's get right into it. Coming in at number 8 is The Illusion of Progress. This is a good album, certainly not a great album. It's a bit underwhelming. I'd say they kind of watered their sound down a bit too much in this album. It's a bit too commercial sounding maybe, but there are some good songs in here. Some of them I'm not too fond of, but I do enjoy some of the songs in here. Some of my favorites would be The Way I Am, Believe, and Save Me. I definitely enjoy those songs quite a bit. So overall, not their greatest album, that's for sure. I know a lot of Stained fans would rank this as their lowest album. It's not their most beloved album, that's for sure, but overall still a fairly decent album. Okay, so coming in at number 8 is The Illusion of Progress. Coming in at number 7 is Confessions of the Fallen. This is their most recent album. This album came out last year. Yeah, I definitely enjoy this album. It could be better though. I think I was a little bit disappointed, but overall I still enjoy this album a fair bit. It definitely contains some different elements from the different eras of Stained. I mean, you get some of the heavier stuff and some of the more kind of rock and roll type stuff as well. It's a bit more modern sounding as well. The production is very modern, and they do incorporate some like electronic elements here. But yeah, it definitely sounds very much like a Stained album. So yeah, I definitely enjoy this one. It's certainly not one of my more favorite ones, but I like some of the songs in here quite a bit. Like some of my favorites would be Lowest in Me, Cycle of Hurting, and the title track, which is Confessions of the Fallen. Some of the songs in here I'm not too keen on, but overall I'd say it's a fairly good album. Okay, so coming in at number 7 is Confessions of the Fallen. Coming in at number 6 is their self-titled album. Yeah, this one is pretty good. It's definitely quite a bit better than the album that had preceded it, which was the album The Illusion of Progress. They definitely stepped it up quite a bit on this album. It's definitely heavier. It's quite a bit heavier, this album. Definitely is reminiscent of their first like 3 albums. Yeah, lots of really solid songs on this album, and excellent guitar playing, just all around great musicianship. Aaron's vocals on this album are just fantastic. Definitely more of an aggressive album overall, and yeah, I just enjoy this one quite a bit. I know a lot of Stained fans really enjoy this one, and some of my favorite songs on this album would be Eyes Wide Open, Not Again, and Now. So yeah, overall pretty good album right here. Okay, so coming in at number 6 is their self-titled album. Coming in at number 5 is 14 Shades of Grey. Yeah, this one is really good. You know, when this album first came out, I was kind of disappointed with it. I think I was around 16 or 17 years old when this album came out, so I was losing interest in Stained at that time. At that time I was exploring other styles of metal and just getting more deeper into other types of metal music, more into the underground stuff, as well as a lot of like European metal and stuff like that. So Stained and bands similar to them weren't really interesting me at that time. But yeah, I remember being kind of underwhelmed with this album at the time, and but in recent years when I've listened to this album again, I've really started to enjoy it quite a bit, and I've realized that this is a really good album, and yeah, definitely a great follow-up to the album Break the Cycle. And yeah, lots of really good songs in here. Again, a couple of them I'm not overly fond of, but overall I'd say the songs on this album are pretty good. Some of my favorites would be Price to Play, Yesterday, and Fill Me Up. So overall, yeah, very good album right here. Okay, so coming up at number 5 is 14 Shades of Grey. Coming up at number 4 is Chapter 5. Yeah, this album is really solid. I've been enjoying this album quite a bit, especially over the past several months. I've been listening to this album, I would say more so than their other albums. Really enjoyed this one so much. It's just a very well written album. There's just so many well written songs in this album. The songwriting overall is just very good. Better than some of their other albums, of course. And yeah, so just a very consistent album overall. Just lots of different elements going on here as well. It's heavy, it's soft, it's you know, it's just very catchy as well, more so than some of their other songs that are out there. So yeah, just a very good solid album right here. I can tell they just spent a lot of time in this album. And yeah, just a great album right here. Some of my favorites on this album would be right here, Paper Jesus and Devil. So yeah, overall just a fantastic album right here. Okay, so coming at number 4 is Chapter 5. Coming up at number 3 is Tormented. Yeah, just what a phenomenal album this is. An underrated gem. I know the band tend to distance themselves somewhat from this album. This is their debut album, and you can definitely hear a lot of like Korn influences and Alice in Chains influences on this album. It's a very heavy and very dark and depressive sounding album. It's yeah, it's very much a nu metal type of album in most ways. It's got a lot of those nu metal grooves and just the aggression of a lot of those other nu metal bands as well. And yeah, just such a great album. Yeah, like I said, it's just an underrated gem. I don't hear many people talk about this album, but I just truly love this album. I remember listening to this album when I was like 15, 16. I had like a burnt copy of it, and finally managed to get an actual physical copy of this album. It's fairly expensive, this album. There's not a whole lot of copies out there of this, but yeah, I managed to get a copy at a decent price, so was very happy about that, and very happy to have this in my collection. But yeah, great album. I can just say so much about this album and how much I love it and how much of an effect it has had on me throughout my life. I just truly cherish this album so much. And yeah, some of my favorite songs on this album would be Tolerate, Break, Painful, and See Through, but this entire album is just phenomenal from start to finish. What an incredible album. Okay, so this is Tormented, coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Dysfunction. What an incredible album right here. I just absolutely love this album so much. 10 out of 10. I just connect with this album so deeply. Very heavy and dark sounding album. The production is more refined than their debut album. Very good production, just all around great musicianship here. So many memorable songs on this album, just very consistent throughout. All the songs on this album are just incredible. But some of my favorites would be Suffocate, Raw, Mud Shovel, and A Flat. Yeah, just a great album I just connect with so deeply. I remember purchasing this album when I was 15 and just being absolutely blown away by it. I still listen to this album quite a bit regularly, and yeah, it's just an absolutely incredible album. Okay, so coming in at number 2 is Dysfunction. Coming in at number 1 is Break the Cycle. Yeah, what an amazing album this is. I just love this album so much. It is phenomenal. Yeah, so I remember hearing this album when I was 14 years of age, and of course I had to purchase a copy of it. And yeah, and I just fell in love with this band. Their music just had so much emotion and depth, and it was heavy and dynamic, and just, yeah, it was just exactly what I needed at that time in my life. And I just got deeper into their music as well. And yeah, just an amazing album right here. 10 out of 10. This entire album is just incredible from start to finish. Some of my favorites, however, would be Fade, Suffer, Safe Placed, and Waste. Yeah, just a great album right here, and of course this had to be my number 1, and just love it so much. Okay, so coming in at number 1 is Break the Cycle. Okay, so those are my album rankings for the band Stained, and yeah, what a great band, and I just absolutely enjoy their music so much. Okay, so yeah, let me know what your album rankings are for the band Stained. I'm very curious to know. So yeah, otherwise I'm doing fairly good in my life currently. I have a very big announcement that I will be making for my band Ordo Abkeo in the near future. This is very exciting, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to making this big announcement, so look out for that. And so yeah, let me know if there are any videos that you would like me to make or if there are certain bands I should check out. I'm always interested in checking out some different bands. So yeah, please leave some comments. I'm always curious to know what you guys are thinking. So if you don't subscribe to my channel, please subscribe and like my video, share my video. Okay, so yeah, I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I want to say thanks to all the people who watch my videos and subscribe to my channel. I really truly appreciate it. Take care, my friends. Cheers.